Falling behind early is one thing. Falling behind 10-0 and being no hit into the 5th inning is another thing altogether. But on April 26, 1997, it didn't matter, as the Reading Phillies stormed back from a double-digit deficit to stun the Norwich Navigators in a comeback for the ages.
The time when I remember we looked up the 10-0 comeback, and it was the biggest in team history. But I remember in that game it was 2 grand slams that carried us, and one was by Steve Carver, who you kind of expect that thing from. He's a big guy, hits in the middle of the lineup. Went to baseball powerhouse Stanford, but the second one came from Matt Giuliano.
Down 10-0 in the 5th inning, you never think you're going to come back and win the game. And then when you have a guy like Matt Giuliano, who hadn't homered all year, was hitting 143 going into the game, come through with a grand slam, you think, well, maybe there's a chance, there's some time left.
Even with Giuliano's homer, his first in more than 250 Double-A at-bats, Reading still trailed by 4 heading into the 9th. But the R-Phils had an ace up their sleeve, provided by the parent club in Philadelphia.
Rex Hudler was here on a rehab for the Phillies. I do remember that. And he was a pretty upbeat guy. I'm sure he was on the bench telling the guys, hey, it's not over, let's go, let's score some runs.
Hudler was awesome when he was here. He had such a great time, loved this place, and I think his presence here and that positive attitude he always brings, I think, helped that team go on to a pretty good year, just missing the playoffs.
Hudler finished 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored, the second coming on Steve Carver's game-tying grand slam. 2 batters later, Marlon Anderson won it with a run-scoring single to left.
Steve Carver hits another one in the 9th inning, and they come back to win the game with 5 runs in the 9th inning.
Sometimes when you get on a roll like that in baseball, when the other team, it's kind of tough to stop that. You can't rely on the clock to run out. You can't run the 4 corners and spread offense and kill the clock. You still need to record 27 outs, and the Phillies just kind of got hot. They got that momentum, and I'm sure Rex Hudler had something to do with that, keeping those guys pumped up in the dugout.
Rex asked if he could stay here a couple more days.
One of the biggest comeback wins you're ever going to see in baseball. To come back from 10-0, it just doesn't happen too often.
The biggest come-from-behind win in team history. Another one of Reading's many golden moments.